Hey everybody, today I've got some projects that I want to get done before the snow starts to fly. So I'm here in our cold frame. This is where we store our shrubs and a couple of the ornamental trees that we're wintering over. And in here there is one specific hydrangea tree that I want to find because I need to get it in the ground. It's one that's kind of near and dear to my heart. So let's look around and see if we can find it. So I know it's not over here with the hydrangeas, and these are the other shrubs, so it's not going to be over here. And this year we were really careful about making sure that we did our inventory correctly so we didn't have to overwinter as much. So we are definitely less than half as far as shrubs go of what we have that we have to overwinter. So that's really nice. Now I know over here are where we stuck some of the ornamentals. There's still more coming in, so I've got to hunt it down. And most of the hydrangea trees aren't in here, but I think, yep, there it is. So I've got it over here. I put a little red sold tag on it, and I named this tree Survivor. So the hydrangea tree is planted. It's either a berry white or a vanilla strawberry. I'm just calling it the Survivor because it has been through a lot. It honestly, in a storm, it had its flower panicles and they were starting to bloom, and the storm it was raining and windy and it snapped off right at the trunk. And the amazing thing is that with no stems, no leaves or anything like that, it did bounce back that season, got a bunch of stems, even had little flowers that first season back. What's more incredible is that 1 year later, the exact same thing happened to this exact same plant, the poor thing. And that did make me think like maybe it has some kind of genetic defect that made it more brittle, maybe. But then I also thought, but maybe it has a genetic defect that's making the flowers bigger and heavier, because it did have large flowers compared to some of the other hydrangea trees that we had. So maybe it's that side and that option. And ultimately, maybe the trunk just wasn't strong enough to support it. So we're going to see. I think it's going to do just fine out here. It's been 2 years since it snapped and it's been doing fantastic. So, no signs of any breakage or any unusualness like that. So happy about that. You probably noticed when I was planting it, I did dig the hole the same depth as the soil line in the pot, and that's kind of recommended. And then I didn't go much larger than the size of my pot for my width. You can go wider, like a lot of people will go an extra 4 to 6 inches out. That does make it easier to pack the soil in around it. Also, if you need to amend your soil because you have poor soil, you can amend the soil around it, going like half your native soil, half better soil, or extra compost or added in. You might not put it at the same ratio, but that is an option. But for the situation I'm in, I think it's gonna be fine. The soil's pretty good, and hydrangeas tend to do very well in this area, so I'm not too worried about it. Spicy thyme, I just wanted to give that a try because I had put some of that in my yard this year, and they were the same size, like the little maybe 4.5, 5-inch size plants when I planted them, and then they're probably at least 18 inches now in my yard. So I think that might be a nice ground cover. It'll hopefully hold in some of the moisture and protect the plant maybe from some heat from the sun. Just thinking about that. And also it might overtake the mulch, which I'm kind of hoping for. And the mulch is another topic that I wanted to bring up because Seed Saver Diane, I think it was, had mentioned like, hey, you're using cardboard. And this was on the video that I had put cardboard down and then put either compost or mulch over it. She said, that's not good. Like there's chemicals, it's going to get into your groundwater. Just use arborist wood chippings. And then she had given me a source to do some research. And I did check the research, and that site is definitely a no cardboard in the garden ever type of place. But I did want to dig a little deeper just to see some of the sources. And they had mentioned the fact that there are, what are they called? PFASs, I don't remember exactly what the acronym is, but they're chemicals that are used in certain types of cardboard, primarily waxed and glossy type of cardboard that's used for like carrying our food and that type of thing. Regular cardboard is not made with those chemicals. So in general, regular cardboard is considered safe. That said, most cardboard is recycled, and they recycle the waxed and glossy ones with plain cardboard. So there are trace amounts of those chemicals in most of the cardboard that's out there. And I did a .edu search as well, trying to make sure. And for the most part, the consensus is, hey, they might be there, but it's not a high risk. So I guess using cardboard as a weed suppressant or to kind of kill off grass, it's not an A++, but it's still way better than like if I were to use landscape fabric or something like that. So I will continue to use cardboard, but I think maybe I'll try to extend this row a little bit up at the top, and maybe I'll try one area with cardboard and one area with no cardboard, and then put my wood chips on it and just see how they do and see how they compare. And I'm going to do it in an area that just has grass and see if it kills back the grass. This quackgrass and crabgrass that we have in our yard is pretty vigorous. It usually kind of fights off anything, so I'm not sure how that'll work. So I will be curious to see if the cardboard is a benefit, because if it doesn't give me an advantage, I'm definitely not going to use it. So I'll try some, maybe, hopefully I can get to that this season, but I'm not sure how much time I'll have. So we'll see how that goes. And I have a feeling some of you are going to have questions about some of the tools that I use. So this product back here is called Pot Wheels. It's from a company called Pot Wheels. It is really nice for hauling things because it's not just like a regular dolly. It also has a third wheel, so you can lean them back and it holds it in that spot. Good position for pulling and moving. So I really like that. Also, I was using my knee pads today, and these are actually pretty fancy. These are considered hinged knee pads. This is actually more complicated, I think, than what you actually need. The average person doesn't need these. These do have, they're a hard bottom, so it's more of like a rubbery plastic on them. Some of them are going to be just that canvas or that fireman's hose type of material, but they are a godsend in the garden. And even if it's just those foamy ones that you strap on, sometimes they can get a little annoying because they're not good. They kind of cut in a little bit, but for basic use, not bad at all. And then I also did use an auger for these spicy thyme. Probably didn't need it, but it was very handy to just pop those in using that. So that's that part of it. Now I want to run inside, show you some of the projects that we're working on there. We just have a few things that are going on inside. So in here, we do have a couple plants that some staff members are going to take home with them. This is that Griffin begonia. Also, Prune Winters has a Pegasus version of this, and these are like tree trunks in here. So we're hoping somebody is going to winter that over. And then just yesterday, our new carts arrived. This cart here we've had for years, and staff are always fighting over it. So we managed to get two more. They're a little bit different, but not much. Inside, we've been doing a lot of spraying with the power washer. So we're pressure washing, all the greenhouses. They get a lot of green and dirt and that type of thing. So that's been all taken care of. All of our benches get sprayed as well. And we are using a product called Green Shield, spraying that in areas. It gets rid of some of the green stuff that really does like the cold, wet days that we have, especially because the temperature inside the greenhouse tends to get just warm enough for that stuff to do well. So greenhouse 3 is pretty much empty. I do still have my Gerber daisies that I had gotten from QVC. We had them outside, and when we moved them outside, this one here ended up getting, I think, overwatered, and so one of them died on me from being overwatered, but the rest still look great. They were kind of looking like they were at their end, so we trimmed them back, but then once we brought them in here, I think the warm weather had caused them to resprout, so we have all new leaves, new flowers coming on them. So I need to figure out what I'm going to do with these for the winter, because they're not hardy enough for our winters, but I need to maybe put them someplace where they're going to be stored for the winter, but I just can't resist it with all these beautiful blooms on them. And then this over here, is a pumpkin. Now I had bought my mom pumpkin seeds and I was planning to plant them up in the spring and I forgot about them. And then I think it was sometime late July maybe, I remembered. So I just put them in this pot and I thought here in the greenhouse, maybe they'll do okay. We did get one pumpkin off of them and then there's two more that are starting to green up or orange up. So I'm hoping we can use those. We didn't get good pollination on them because when I had planted them, there weren't really any plants in here, so I don't think we had pollinators. So we just got lucky with the three that did pollinate, because I think in the past this variety has been really good for us. Had it been outside, it would have done better. But hey, it was like a good solution considering I completely forgot to plant them. So I was able to get an extra couple weeks by planting them and bringing them into the greenhouse here. In addition to the power washing and moving plants into their winter storage, we also do actually use a shop vac to pull up any leaves that might have fallen on the ground. We just don't want to keep those in here because those could harbor bugs. And otherwise, we're just doing cleaning up and moving stuff and organizing, all that kind of fun stuff. And in the spring, that's when we're going to go through and we sanitize our benches with a bleach solution just to kind of give it that one more round. Otherwise, things are kind of being put to bed for the season, and we're just kind of getting ready for kind of cold weather that's coming. So thanks for watching, everybody. I'm going to see you in the next video.